It's World War III watch. Let's just face it, it's already started. We're going to give you guys an update on the situation in Venezuela. We broke this news for you guys last Thursday on the show as Trump basically deployed 4,000 military to surround Venezuela off the coast. And those military were Marines ready to be put in place for potential, as Trump puts it, on the ground, boots on the ground is what he said was a likely possibility, or just any possibility whatsoever, boots on the ground. So what reaction is Maduro giving? Well, we heard there was up to 4.5 million potential militia members ready to mobilize. And we know that tens of thousands of them are signing up for this mobilization every day. We're going to get more to that in a second, but let's listen to George Galloway give us a little breakdown. If you guys missed it, here is the order of what happened, and then we'll try and figure out what's happening next. So here's George Galloway with the summary on Venezuela. Check it out.
Trump sent 6 warships and 1 submarine off the coast of Venezuela this morning. What's that about? Well, he doesn't rule out a boots-on-the-ground invasion of the vast territory of Venezuela with its government, which, let me put it this way, would be itching for a fight with the 4,000 U.S. Marines that Donald Trump has on board these warships. He hasn't ruled out, Donald Trump, a landing. Boots-on-the-ground invasion. All in the interests of fighting the drug cartels, of course. Nothing to do with the fact that Venezuela is the world's largest oil-producing country, and that Venezuelan oil is perfectly suited to the American refinery market. Nothing to do with creating yet another war when the wars he's already deeply involved and implicated in are, despite his repeated protestations, not yet resolved.
So, yeah, this is about a number of things, as Galloway mentions, a number of things going on here. One would be a distraction from the other wars that are unresolved, a distraction from Epstein, a distraction from the homeland policies going on with military in every city, which is the goal, Palantir surveillance, Palantir AI. But as Galloway mentions, the unresolved conflict he ran on being a peace president. We've been through this. You guys know by now that all of it was a bait and switch. So you got that, and then of course the oil. It's always about the oil. You gotta keep your eyes on the oil. Venezuela is the biggest oil reserve in the effing world, and the fact that for years we've had the previous administration before Maduro was Chavez, who is notoriously known for giving away free oil. This is what he does to his neighboring countries, to his own people. And we've always been against it. We've had to put our foot down. That's not okay. You can't give away free oil. Here's Maduro coming in. We talked about this on last week's show. Also on Truthwire, if you guys want to check out our conversation there as well with Craig Pasta and Fiorella. But what I guess the point that is important that people kind of miss is that Maduro is following in the footsteps of Chavez. And as we've seen from our vantage point that we've been to Venezuela, we've covered Venezuela for the last decade. Before that, even a movie that we made in Caracas at one time was the most dangerous city in the world. It no longer is the most dangerous city in the world. But American imperialism has been the culprit of creating the refugee problem. There were 4 million people that were displaced just 10 years ago. Maduro has been in power since 2013. As I've seen, as we've been looking at him, he has gotten to be a better leader throughout this time. And all of this, this notion of Trump uniquely being evil and saying he's illegitimate, you guys, if you guys have been Trump haters this whole time, you have to understand that both parties have been doing this for years. Nobody on the Democrats are trying to stop Trump from this insane, it's not an official declaration of war, but he's certainly bullying our position, the U.S. military, the U.S. government's position is to challenge Venezuela, to challenge the legitimacy of Maduro's presidency, which we've been doing the entire way. Whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, we've been doing it the entire way. Obama also challenging. But this is where Trump gets the standing ovations. Okay, you guys missed this back in 2020. We talk about Trump came in, did the State of the Union. If you guys remember this one, right before the COVID lockdown. And Nancy Pelosi did that whole, let's rip up the speech. I'm so mad at this guy. I'm going to rip up a speech. Right before she ripped up the speech, everybody was applauding. The whole room stood up for Trump when he said that Maduro wasn't legitimate back then. Even back then. It was Juan Guaido. Juan Guaido is the president. He's the legitimate president. These are people we want to instill as president. And now, fast forward 5 years, it's Amundo Gonzalez. He's the rightful president, not Maduro. Maduro is what? What is Maduro? Maduro is part of a drug cartel. His entire administration is a drug cartel. We have to stop that. So do we have any critique on where the cartel is from, who funds it? Do you think it might be the CIA that creates the drug cartel problem? Maduro won an official election. He wins elections. That's what he does. The people come out and vote for him. Okay, we can pretend that there's election interference. It's easier to spot election interference in Latin American countries, as Craig Pasta will tell you. They're much better at showing paper trails. We can go there in person and see when possible. We go to the story. When possible, go to the story. We can see the paper trail. You can't do that here. We got this digital system. We got this mail-in system. These privatized voting machines that are supposed to be all high tech, and there's no paper trail. The mail-in voting is the biggest scam. Nobody else does that, by the way. So we can see when there's scamming going on, and of course there's scamming that goes on. And every country has their share of scamming and voting. But Maduro certainly is the legitimately elected president of Venezuela. And notice that the Democrats are not challenging Trump's actions right now. That should be concerning to you if you were a vote blue no matter whoer, and you were with the camp of no kings, you're with the camp of Trump's the next Hitler. What you should be absolutely concerned that the Democrats don't have a problem with any of this right now. The Democrats don't have a problem with a $50 million bounty on Maduro's head right now. They don't have a problem with it. You're not hearing CNN and MSNBC telling you, oh no, why is Trump putting a bounty on an elected presidential, an elected president in a foreign country? Why is he putting a bounty on his head? Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Okay, so where is this going? What's the next thing? What is happening here? Well, Maduro's response, we talked about the 4.5 million. That number might be exaggerated, but I can tell you what his approach is. His approach is very calm and collected. He's kind of like a chess player. I think he takes lessons from Putin. We know that he is very friendly with Putin. He's reached out to Putin. He's reached out to Xi Jinping in China for backing. I don't think either of them are in a position where they can physically back him. They might not have to, but they certainly give their verbal acknowledgement. Obviously, they're not going to say he's not legitimate. So this whole thing is about the oil. It's about BRICS. Venezuela has been known to be invited into the conversation about BRICS. So we know that makes him another enemy of the West. If they weren't already an enemy because they were practicing evil communism and socialism. Oh, so evil. We have to stop it. We have to stop him from giving away oil for free. Oh, horrible. Horrible. Okay, so this militia building movement that Maduro's actually doing, does he have enough support from the ground? You can bet your ass he does. He calls it a plan for peace. He calls it it's a defense mechanism of protecting your country, protecting your territory. So he talks about being prepared, being active, and being armed. And that's what he's telling his people in Venezuela right now. And he's urging them to mobilize and into these militias, this rural mobilization and industrial mobilization. Now Bondi was bragging last week about stealing assets from Maduro, which I guess had been accomplished, about $700 million worth of assets from his cabinet. Just did it just because you can. Just can. Just, we're going to take your shit. We're going to take it. So she did. Bragged about it. Okay. So we know Maduro has survived a bunch of coups. We know that, again, Chavez before him survived a bunch of coups. Somehow, some way, Venezuela has persevered. I don't know how, but they have a strong history of getting through this. This is not the first time. Again, it's not the first time we've challenged Venezuela to a duel or whatever you say, to this potential war situation. So, with that said, well, let's look at the mobilization happening right now in Venezuela. Check this out.
Y para mostrarle al país.
Okay, hold on. Let me read that. I'm going to start it over. We are here to show the country today on our day of popular favor, today on a day when the people of Venezuela are taking to the streets to join not only the ranks of the Bolivarian militia, where the act is eminently popular, eminently voluntary, not only to join the ranks, the call made by our commander-in-chief, Maduro, a call to the ranks and mobilization of the Bolivarian militia, but it is also a call and an expression of the people of Venezuela's against the imperialists and against the people of Venezuela, against the entire homeland. And if you guys saw the accompanying images, they are gathering the people, gathering a coalition, militia, rural, and industrial. And the numbers, again, might be a little high that were announced at 4.5 million. Whatever they are, we're talking about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands being put together here. Not going to be a match for 4,000 Marines. I'm just saying, not going to be a match for 4,000 Marines. So none of us should want this to happen. Anybody who thinks that this needs to happen is freaking insane, or you're captured, or you're not paying attention. You got to look at this closer. And unfortunately, if you're someone like Alex Jones, and this is really disheartening, people like Alex Jones and his take on this. Let's watch Alex Jones try to explain to his audience that a war with Venezuela is an exception to all the other ones he's against. And he's against all of the other military industrial complex, illegal wars, regime change wars, resource stealing wars, coups, taking out democratically elected leaders, putting in our own, stealing resources, the whole bit, sanctioning, starting another war, occupying land, Greater Israel Project, going as far, just taking as much as you can. Alex Jones is going to tell you and his audience that Venezuela is an exception to that, and he's going to explain why. And it's pretty tragic to watch him do this. Here we go.
I don't like any of these wars, not Gulf I, not Gulf II, not Afghanistan, all of it. I've been against all these wars, Ukraine war, all of it. But if you look at U.S. doctrine and wars that we fought before that were right, it's in Latin America. This is our sandbox.
Wars that were right because you say so. Okay. So Latin America wars, totally cool. Just go around and just wreak havoc, sanction the crap out of people. Oh, by the way, create refugees who have nowhere to go. CIA funds the cartels. And then you have the child trafficking problem at the border, human trafficking problem. You create this entire problem, which Alex Jones should know better. He's been against the cartels that we fund. He's been obviously his audience just, immigration, we got to get the, where do you think this all comes from? It comes from imperialism. You effing idiot. Is he an idiot though? Or is he being controlled? That's really the question. But go on, Alex, explain to us why this is an exception and why we have to keep annihilating Latin American countries, uniquely Latin American countries. They deserve the havoc that we wreak on them. The exception to the rule that wars are bad, that fabricated occupations and regime change wars mostly are bad, but this is the exception. Go on, tell us.
And Venezuela is a communist dictatorship with the biggest oil reserves per square foot in the world. Their people are absolute slaves. And I don't like regime change, but they are manipulating our elections.
I don't like regime change, but, they're manipulating our elections. Alex, show us the paper trail of that one. Venezuela is manipulating our elections. Wow. I didn't know that. You must have some top secret information there, Alex. Wow. This whole time it was, oh my God, this whole time it was Venezuela deciding our elections for us. We're so weak. Alex Jones thinks we're so weak of a nation. We can't decide our own elections. Venezuela is deciding who's in charge. Oh, yeah. Okay. Venezuela decides our elections, elects Trump, and then Trump surrounds him with Marines and says boots on the ground is on the table. Okay. Good rationale there, Alex Jones.
Flooding us with fentanyl. And if there were surgical strikes,
the CIA floods us with fentanyl. The CIA floods us with fentanyl. The CIA has flooded us with every other drug problem. The CIA has flooded us with cocaine. The CIA has flooded us. It's crack cocaine in the ghetto. What do you call it? Crystal meth. Heroin. From Vietnam. Shipped over here. Dropped into the impoverished areas. The CIA does this, Alex Jones. You know better.
To take out the communists, there'd be an uprising and they could have elections and it would be a good thing. So I'm not one to ever push offensive stuff, but they started it, so it's really defense. So I'll say it. I am for removing the Venezuelan dictatorship.
Oh my God.
But by the extension, the cartels back down and have basically slashed fentanyl production 90+%. I mean, they're killing their own people that do it. That's well known. And even in mainstream news. So it's kind of like Trump. I'm going to come get you in Mexico now because of what you did before. And the CIA was basically allowing all that, running a lot of it.
Oh, the CIA allows it, but they don't have they're not doing it. Alex Jones, they're not. The CIA's part of it, but they're not. But they are. They were allowing it, but they're not. But so we are Alex Jones. We are the CIA. So you're for a regime change in Venezuela, even though you just admitted that, minimally speaking, the CIA at least allows the fentanyl, allows the cartel. Okay, what does allow mean? Does that mean financially backs it? What do you even mean by that? So you're acknowledging the existence of the CIA, but we're not taking the responsibility for creating this chaos, because you have to be about this. Communism.
Under Obama, and then under Trump's nose, and then with Biden it got worse. So by that extension, I mean, for those that don't know, Trudeau allows the use of it. It's decriminalized. And they turned a blind eye to its production. Most of it comes out of Canada now. That's on record. So yeah, do we have a right to go blow up the cartels? Yeah. But they rolled over, basically. Venezuela is the 800-pound gorilla.
Venezuela is the 800-pound gorilla. Oh man, look at this guy maneuvering. I think the only question left to be asked about Alex Jones is what? Is this his own, really his own opinion? Or has he been given a script? Kind of stuttering through it. I don't know if he fully wants to say these things. And every time I do this, I say this about Trump a lot, guys. You've heard me say this. When I suggest that they're given top-down orders above them, I'm not trying to take the responsibility off of them. I just am trying to open up a larger lens beyond that. These people wake up in the morning and say, I'm just going to have this insane opinion, or in Trump's case, I'm just going to do this insane executive order today. We take a step back and say, well, what above that is requiring this to happen? And why are these not the perfect okay, so we do an if and then. That's how we figure this out. If and then. If there was an entity above Alex Jones, if there was an entity above Trump, how would that entity function? If they could dictate policy, if they could dictate, millions of people watching Alex Jones, what is going to be the take going out to them for all their eardrums? You have somebody like Alex Jones chosen for that. You have somebody like Trump chosen to be the president. Wouldn't those two be the perfect people to choose? Aren't they really, really, really good at getting some stuff right, winning you over, and then deliberately getting this wrong? What's more likely? What's more likely? Two guys. I know Jay Scott says Trump is an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot. I disagree with him on that. I think he's got a limited vocabulary, but I think he knows business, and he knows TV. Alex Jones certainly knows TV. They're both loudmouths. They know how to get a headline. They're not dumb to the point where they get these things wrong. I don't believe that Alex Jones got this wrong. I believe it's a top-down order, and he's a perfect mechanism to do it. The way he maneuvers and says this is the exception, Venezuela's the exception. The same way Trump can convince half the country that taking away the First Amendment right of free speech is constitutional. And because of safety, because of death, we got to stop death. We're going to take away your First Amendment right to stop death. Guess who also has that argument? Anti-gun, right? So you say take away the Second Amendment to stop death. No, you can't do that. Can't take away the Second Amendment. Can't stop death. But we can take away the First Amendment to stop death. I'm just using that as an example. It's a contradiction. It doesn't make any sense. Who are you going to get to sell that contradiction? Trump's great at it. In this case, Alex Jones is great at it. So here we are selling yet another war. Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Palantir, Alex Karp tells us right out of his loud effing mouth, he tells us 3-front war. Iran, Russia, China. 3-front war is coming. Would Venezuela be a 4-front? No, it might actually be part of that 3-front, because when you engage Venezuela this way and threaten this war, this ground on the boots on the ground war against Maduro, then you're challenging Russia in that as well. You're challenging China in that as well. So the 3-front war, we're closer to that destination, has been set out by Palantir, the biggest receiver of cash of that big, beautiful bill, which nobody knows. Nobody talks about it. It's $130 billion. Wait. That number's too low. It's 320 billion. 320 billion going to Palantir for military weapons, AI, surveillance, pre-crime, targeting anybody we want in our country, targeting anybody we want in any other country, on behalf of this 3-pronged war, on behalf of Israel. By the way, Maduro has spoken out against Israel. Add that to the mix. So here we are. Spokespeople bringing in manufacturer consent. They're just doing it in smarter ways now. They already got the other half of the country 4 years before with Biden. That was easy. That was easy. Now this is the way you get the other half of the country on board for digital IDs, technocracy, four front war. Here we go, guys. Welcome to World War III. And World War III isn't necessarily being fought with nukes. Don't necessarily equate World War III with nukes. There are other ways you can fight it. Information. Alex Jones' show, InfoWars. Information wars. It's an AI war. It's the war for who gets to control the matrix, who gets to control the machine. So it's not necessarily nukes. But however we look at it, if in fact we've arrived at World War III or we're arriving to it, we might have to face the reality that history books will look back and say we already started it. It already happened. Retroactively, we might be in it right now, and we might have to accept that because the point of no return seems very bleak at this point. Okay, let me take a moment to introduce you to our good friends over at World Harvest Food Bank right here in LA. World Harvest has been serving families across Los Angeles for 18 years now, and they started with this simple idea. Everyone deserves access to healthy, affordable food no matter what they're going through. With their Cart with a Heart program, families can walk away with a full cart of groceries, fresh produce, dairy, meat, and pantry supplies for just a $50 contribution. That's for the entire cart. That same cart would cost over $300 at a typical grocery store. At World Harvest, everyone is welcome. They don't ask for income verification, ID, or any paperwork. No. Basically, their doors are open to anyone who's doing their best, but just needs a little extra push to get by. If you're an Angelino like me, you know the times have been tough here. First with all the union strikes, the LA fires, and now the ICE raids going on. It seems like we're living in a constant state of uncertainty. And that's why it's so important to support local charities like World Harvest, because they aren't just helping the community. They're an essential function in its very survival. World Harvest is located at Venice and Arlington. And right now, you can use our special discount code THL20 for 20% off your contribution amount at checkout. And if you're not in the LA area, you can still help out with a $50 donation, which will provide a full cart of food for a family by going to worldharvestfoodbank.org or scan the QR code for more info. Or you can just spread the word. Follow them online. Let people know they're here for them, because at the end of the day, it's about providing choice, access, and relief without barriers. World Harvest Food Bank. End hunger now.